right, so good morning and welcome to 1MC Westminster. We are live here at Startup Portal and also streaming live on Facebook. Happy to see all of you again. Coffee today is provided by Westminster Street Coffee, our presenter, and baked goodies are provided by Genie Birds. Thank you to both of you for getting us going this morning. We had a great time last Wednesday hearing from Vladimir Ikato, the founder of Ikato. If you missed his presentation, it's online now on YouTube, and I never thought I'd be young enough to say, but please go and give us a like and subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Yep, smash that like button. We're very excited to hear from today's presenter, Troy.
Correct.
Yeah, Westminster Street Coffee. Before we do that, though, I'm just going to go over what we are all about here at 1MC Westminster. So 1 Million Cups was started by the Kauffman Foundation, based out of Kansas City, with the mission to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. Without you guys here in our community, we really just can't accomplish this mission. So what are we looking for? We're looking for presentations, not pitches, and connections, not networking. We are for the community and by the community. We really want to get to know you, your business, and the challenges that you face so that we can connect you to all the resources we have in our community. Nobody has ownership of 1MC Westminster. Nobody is paid to do 1MC Westminster, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. We're really looking for everybody, of any background to come and join our community. We all benefit when we all contribute. We meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m., which everyone here knows. We have 2 presenters whenever possible, or 1, and we do community
Updates.
Shout-outs. And presenters, we usually ask that presenters' organizations be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help. Because we always end with the question, what can we as a community do to help you? And here's our organizing team: Graham Dodge, Russ Hammond, Vicki Slinkman, John Wheatman, Tina Thomas, myself, Julia Snap, and Gabby Rhodes.
That's it.
And with that, we'll get the presentation queued up, and I will hand it over to Troy.
Sure. All right. Thank you very much for having me this morning. One slide said that you could be less than 5 years old. I think I'm older than that. I hope that's okay. No, the business has only been 2 years old. Westminster Street Coffee. Let's go ahead and take a look at this slide here. We are custom artisan coffee roasters. And let's see. Forward. If not, I'll just do the mouse bit.
Sorry.
It's all right.
There you go.
There we go. Back. Okay. A little bit about myself and my wife. Westminster Street Coffee really kind of started off as a result of us being coffee lovers. There are people who are coffee drinkers, and then there are people who are coffee lovers. Coffee lovers are coffee drinkers, but not all coffee drinkers are coffee lovers. Okay, so one of the things that coffee lovers really enjoy is the unique flavors and qualities that different coffees can provide you. And one of the things that we did when we were young and first married and didn't have any money was subscribe to a very expensive coffee delivery program, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But they would send you a different coffee variety every month, and we would taste it, and then you could spend extra money and get extra varieties, which we did. And fell in love with the different varieties of coffee. You really just enjoy being able to taste the difference of a coffee, say, from Colombia versus Costa Rica versus Brazil versus maybe, say, Ethiopia or Java or any of the maybe 50 or 60 different countries that coffee comes from. One of the things that happened though is that I started needing to drink decaf. Couldn't handle 4 or 5 cups of caffeination without feeling like I was going to come out of my skin. So for a coffee lover to be cut off from his coffee, pretty tough. So we found a national chain which sold a decaf coffee in whole bean, and if you are familiar with coffee at all, you recognize that coffee will go stale. The longer it sits, the more flavor it will lose, which is why when you buy coffee off of the shelf at the grocery store, you may taste good. The next bag you buy may not taste quite as good. It may be a little bit more flat. It just loses its flavor. It's just like any other biological product. It'll lose some of its quality and some of its flavor. So we like to buy whole bean, grind it ourselves, do the whole grinder thing. I was buying whole bean from a national provider, and then they stopped selling the decaf and whole bean. So start buying their ground decaf, get it home and brew it, and it's just flat. It just lacks flavor. So why not learn how to roast coffee myself and do decaf? That's a great idea. Vision and mission. The vision is to provide a wide range of coffee options to those who cannot consume caffeine. The number of people who buy decaf is going to be limited in any given area. How many of you here just drink decaf because that's what you need to do? Okay, so we have at least a couple decaf drinkers, because you either do that, you don't want the caffeine, you can't do it for whatever medical reasons, so forth. So you drink the decaf. But the number of people who drink decaf just because they love coffee is going to be limited in any one particular area. So what we wanted to do was to be able to maybe provide an online service where people who want decaf but want a variety of decaf, want to be able to experience that wide range of flavors, the difference, wanting to be able to drink a Costa Rica this month or today and be able to drink a Colombia or a Brazil tomorrow and be able to enjoy that flavor and have a quality decaf just as much as you could get for caffeine, to be able to get it whole bean, to be able to get it ground, whatever. So that is our vision, is to provide that wide range of coffee options to those who cannot consume caffeine for whatever reason. So that was kind of the sort of the vision and the birth of Westminster Street Coffee. That's kind of how we envisioned and got our start. The mission at this point in time is to have a strong online presence for decaf coffee and a physical presence in the North Carroll County area. We're up in Manchester, so what we would like to do is to have and be able to market strongly to an online community of decaf coffee consumers, because I think that's where my market is going to be, is more in the online world. I just don't envision being able to have a shop full of decaf coffees and having customers beating my door down. I just don't think that's going to happen. And as you noticed, the coffee ranges that I provided today, there was 1 decaf and 3 caffeines. And what I sell currently, I sell a lot more caffeine coffee than I do decaf at the moment. I'm a startup. Got to start somewhere. Got to get the business rolling somehow. So I'm selling caffeine. Nobody's complaining. So that's been pretty good. The other thing, so I'd like to have that strong online presence for the decaf coffee drinkers. So I'm going to need to be able to find ways to reach that community, build that community, and build those pipelines so that people know hey, if you love coffee but you can't drink it anymore and you want to do decaf, this is the guy to talk to. This is the place to go. Here's the website you need to order your coffee from, and you will have that wide range. Because if you go to the grocery store, go online, check it out. You'll see any number of brands of coffee. They'll have 12 options of coffee that's caffeine and 1 decaf, and it's usually not that great. The other thing that we would like to do is we would like to have a physical presence in the North Carolina area. And thanks, is that the little feedback? Really for questions. We would like to have a physical presence in the North Carolina area. Several things that we would like to do, and the mission statement, it's kind of blurry at the moment because we have several different branches that we're possibly thinking of doing. Long range, short, the long range plan would either be to be strictly a coffee roaster, do nothing else but roast coffee, market it to restaurants, other providers that need coffee in larger quantities. That's mission number 1. Mission number 2 is to have a storefront to sell coffee, whether it be coffee beans, ground coffee, so forth, but also be able to sell you a cup of coffee if you want to pick it up on your way to work. We live in a place where there's lots of commuter traffic, so a storefront, we're in good shape for a storefront. The third vision and our mission is we would possibly like to have a genuine coffee shop where we sell the roasted coffee, we sell the coffee in the cups, and we also sell maybe some baked goods. My daughter has toyed with being a baker, so that's possibility number 3. So we'll see where it goes, but we do know we would like to have a strong physical presence in the North Carolina area for coffee, and we think there is a good market up there for that. There isn't really a custom. There's one coffee roaster in North Carolina that I can think of at this point, and they don't have a physical presence that I'm aware of. So I think we have plenty of room for that. So that's our vision and mission statement. Who are we? Who is Westminster Street Coffee? We're longtime Carroll County residents. We actually have P.O. Box 1 in Manchester. So that tells you how long we've been there. No, I'm just kidding. That was just luck. We went over and just happened to get P.O. Box 1, but it makes us look important. We like it. We are coffee roasters. We currently only sell fresh roasted coffee. We only sell either ground or whole bean. We don't sell cups of coffee at this point in time. We do hope to at this point we would like to be able to move to being able to sell at events. So we would probably like to do farmers markets, flea markets. We did an event last year at a yard sale. I think, what's it, at St. Paul's yard sale up on 31 that clogs up traffic there once a month on a Saturday. And, we contributed to that. And we're happy to do so. And so we would like to repeat that. That was a very good experience for us. So we would like to be able to sell brewed coffee at those types of events, as well as the coffee product itself, the coffee beans and the ground coffee. But currently, we are nothing more than coffee roasters. That's all we do. We are currently a startup. We started in 2020, and we are operating under the Maryland cottage laws to provide our product at this point in time. We don't have a commercial kitchen, so we are using the Maryland cottage laws. Began in September of 2020. I feel like for the amount of energy and time that we're able to commit to it, that I'm able to commit to it, that we're reasonably established but still very small. one-man shop. So yeah, I do have regular customers, which I think is pretty cool. And so I have a decent website, people order. So I do have sort of an established name, and a decent establishment. I think some people are aware of me. So I feel like we've done a pretty decent job of getting ourselves established, if you will, for a small startup, one-man show. Next slide. What problems am I solving? I went into great detail of this one, providing a range of decaffeinated coffee to those who cannot consume caffeine, whether it be for jittery type issues or physical health problems. Some people just don't do caffeine, maybe for religious reasons. There are some people who can't do caffeine because they have physical problems, maybe heart issues or whatever. Some people may not be able to do caffeine because they have it gives them too much jitters and causes other types of issues. So we want to provide a range of decaffeinated coffees to those who cannot consume caffeine for whatever reason. We would like to provide fresh roasted, single origin, and maybe blends, I guess, if I have to enhance your coffee enjoyment along with your daily caffeination session. So, a lot of people just get up in the morning, they coffee, and they need that coffee because they want the caffeine. I like to focus on the single origin. You'll notice the coffees that are provided. All of them come from a single country. All of them are a single origin bean. What that means is that just like any other crop, there are varieties. Within those varieties, there are flavors. So, what I like to do is I like to focus on the flavors of those individual coffee beans and roast it in such a way that it brings out those unique qualities. So that when you drink that Costa Rica coffee, you drink that Brazil coffee, you drink that Ethiopian coffee, you drink that Colombian coffee. If you sat them side by side, put the same amount of coffee in, brewed it in the same coffee pot, you should be able to tell the difference between those coffees. And you should be able to taste the unique flavors. And ideally, you should be able to say, I like this one better than this one. And that's what we would like to do. That's why I focus on the single origin. However, some people would prefer blends. The other reason that you might want to do a blend is that, as Graham, you were saying earlier, medium roast coffees are kind of difficult to get consistent from roast to roast to roast, so that if you order a terrazoo from me and you go, man, that's really good, and I send you another terrazoo and you're like, that doesn't taste anything like the first one I got, that's not good for me, it's not good for my business. Blends allow you to provide a little bit more consistency and can provide maybe a little bit more unique qualities. So I may do blends, but I would prefer to provide single origin coffees. One of the other goals that we have is to reduce plastic waste, and there's more to come on that. I'm going to show you some ideas that we have concerning that. And lastly, what is Westminster? What problem? So I'm solving a problem for myself. I got to have something to do when I retire, so that I don't drive my wife crazy. So it will give me something to do when I retire, and it is sort of it's sort of a retirement idea. So I will be able to commit my full time to Westminster Street Coffee. So what we want to do is kind of get it up, get it moving, get it running, have it sort of being either self-supporting or ideally be profitable by the time I'm ready to retire. And hopefully you're going, good grief, that's like 10 years from now. No, it's not that far away. It's about 4 years off. We would like it to be profitable by that point, so that it's a self-sustaining and profitable business. So it will give you something to do when I retire. All right, so we are custom artisan coffee roasters. What in the world does that mean? Is it just buzzwords like custom artisan bakers and custom artisan painters and custom artisan shoemakers? Yes, we are custom and we are artisan. Custom. We allow customers the ability to determine how they want their coffee roasted. Okay, you guys all tasted my coffee today. Let's say that you drank the Brazil and it's not bad, but I would like that roasted darker. Tell me, I'll roast it darker for you. Let's say you tasted the Brazil and you're like, yeah, it was pretty good. I would like it roasted a little lighter. I'll roast it lighter for you. You can contact me. You can tell me. I will roast you the coffee the way you want it roasted. And if you're a coffee lover, you have some idea of how you want your coffee roasted, and I will do that for you. That's custom number one. Custom number two is, pull this out, maybe. I'm not going to pull it out. Keurig cup. All right. A lot of us use Keurigs. We don't use Keurigs at home. But there are probably dozens of ways to brew coffee. You can put it in a pot. You can do a French press. You can do a K-cup. You can do a little Italian percolator. You can do a pour over. You can do a Chemex. Okay, so there's lots of ways to brew coffee. When you brew coffee in different ways, if you grind coffee for, say, an espresso to put into an espresso machine, that's going to be a very fine grind, and you try to do a French press on that, it's not going to be good because all the grinds are going to be in your coffee because it's not going to be caught. So one of the other things that you tell me how you want your coffee roasted. If you want it ground, I'll grind it for you. If you want it ground for French press, I'll grind it for that. If you want it ground for espresso, I'll grind it that way. All you gotta do is tell me, how do you want it ground? I will do that. If you prefer it whole bean, thank you very much. That saves me a lot of time. I just put it in the bag and ship it off to you. Fantastic. So, order whole bean. If you're really a coffee lover, you should be ordering whole bean anyway. Custom, we only roast when you order. Okay, why is that? Coffee, as I said, has a shelf life. Coffee that you get in the grocery store, who knows when it was roasted? It was roasted in, say, Seattle. Shipped across the country, sat in a warehouse, got shipped to the grocery store, sat in the back of the grocery store, and then finally they had enough space on the shelf and they pushed it. If they did it properly, they took the old bags off, put the new bags behind it, and then put the old bags back up. And then they got to wait for you guys to come and buy it. Who knows by the time you pull that bag off the shelf how long ago that coffee was roasted. Okay. In that time, that coffee is going to lose a lot of its flavor. So we want to make sure that when you order coffee from us, it is a custom roast for you. And you're going to get the coffee the way you want it, ground the way you want it, and fresh. So that's custom. Artisan. Okay, what in the world is this? This is what is called a roast profile. And when you are roasting coffee, you use, depending on how you do it, most of the time these days, everything's computers. So you use software to help you monitor your roast. And what you'll see here is you see these nice colorful lines. So you have a bean temp, you have the inner bean temp, and then you have what is called the rate of rise. Okay, that nice squiggly pink line is the rate of rise. And that's telling you how your coffee beans are heating up. What we like to do with the rate of rise is to have a nice arc that kind of comes up this way and then it kind of gradually tails off. Okay, this one's got a little spike here. That might cause a little bitterness. So what we want to do is that, if we manipulate these variables, I can make your coffee taste, the same bean taste different. So if I take this rate of rise and kind of tail it off a little faster, what's going to happen is your coffee is going to have a lighter body and it's going to be brighter. It's going to have more of that acidic kind of quality that some people like. So it's going to have that quality. If I stretch this out, what's going to happen is that coffee is going to have a smoother, fuller body quality to it. we have a tendency to like fuller body coffees. So if you buy coffee from me and you don't tell me what you want, that's what you're going to get. It's a fuller body coffee because that's what I like and that's the way that I roast. That's the way that I prefer it. Also, if you roast it this way and you have that nice curve, if the coffee's done right, what should happen is you should have a nice, smooth mouthfeel to it, and there should be no bitter aftertaste when you swallow it. So this artisan piece is manipulating all of these variables to, one, produce a good product, of course, but also to provide you with a coffee, hopefully, that you enjoy. So that's the artisan piece. Reduce plastic. Okay, so plastic is definitely a problem. You know, we have a sea turtle here trying to eat a plastic bag because it looks like a piece of seaweed, and that's going to cause some problems. If you buy coffee in a bag, let's say it comes in that, look, it could be in a foil bag, it could be in a bag that's paper on the outside, it could be in a bag that's plastic on the outside. It's going to be in a bag. Inside of that bag, it's going to have some type of lining. And what that lining does is it helps the coffee to maintain its freshness. All right? When you combine two products like that, when you put paper and plastic together, or you put foil and plastic together, or whatever, it's always going to have some kind of plastic in it because plastic is the thing that helps to retard the reduction of the flavors. You can't recycle that product because it's mixed at the recycling plant. They can't separate it. So what ends up happening is that plastic will ultimately go into a landfill. So currently our product is sold in bags that are not environmentally friendly, but we're striving for that. So what we would like to do for our physical presence is sell beans in containers that are easily recyclable or ideally reusable. So you come to my physical shop, and what would happen is you say, I would like, a pound of whatever. You bring your jar, or I sell you a jar. If you bring it back, we will fill that, jar back up, and we will give you a reduced cost on your coffee. And what that's doing is it's reducing that, that waste. I do have some customers that are receiving their coffee in just plain old white paper bags. Roll it up, stick a tiny little label on it. That is infinitely recyclable. You can recycle paper over and over and over and over again. So if you will order your coffee and tell me you want it in that paper bag, I'll sell it to you that way, and I will sell it to you at a reduced cost. And I'm doing that to try to reduce the plastic waste. So that's just one of the goals that we have at Westminster Street Coffee. All right, where are we? So where are we at as a business? We are currently, I would say we're a startup. We're just beginning. We've been running about a year, but definitely still in the incubation stage. Still working on getting customers, still working on developing product, still working on marketing, still working on kind of a timeline for all that. Definitely still very much a startup. Right now, this is a side gig for me. I do have a day job. I'm a computer programmer by day, which consumes my 9 to 5, actually 6 to 3:30, but this is a side gig, so if you order from me, it's log off, roast. So right now it's a one-man shop working in, as a side gig. Ideally, what we're doing is we're relying for what I'm calling organic growth. We're not doing any real heavy marketing, not really pushing the business real heavy, largely because I just don't think I could handle the volume. If I were to get hundreds of orders, you could visit me at the psychiatric unit over at the hospital because I would go crazy. We are currently in the works of converting a building that we have on the property into a commercial kitchen, and we would like to have a commercial kitchen and a health license by summer. So that's sort of our goal. And the reason that we would like to have that in place is in order to be able to sell coffees, brewed coffees and so forth at markets or to you if you stop by my shop. It has to be coming out of a commercial kitchen that's been inspected and so forth. So we hope to have that commercial kitchen up and running and not be selling under the cottage laws anymore. And for those of us who are a little bit more tangible, where are we? We're in Manchester, Maryland. So that's just a little side joke. All right, our short-term goals. We would like to be selling bulk roasts to local establishments, to restaurants. I'd love to be able to sell bulk quantities. If I could sell you a 10-pound bag of coffee, that's just a whole lot easier for me than to sell 10 individually packaged bags of coffee. So we've given some samples out to a couple restaurants, and we would like to follow up with that when we have the commercial kitchen in place. In order for me to do that, that commercial kitchen has to be in place as well. So we'll have that. We would love to have a physical location. We are located on Westminster Street up in Manchester, and they're putting in a wonderful 30-unit housing complex across the street, which is, 30 units in Manchester? Where? You'd think it'd be a tent city. But yeah, I think they're probably going to be able to squeeze it in. We lived in Newmarket and near Frederick, and our first house it looked like somebody came and took a giant saw and took townhouses and cut it into little slices and then shoot, and put spaces in between individual homes, but really it was townhouses. So can it be done? Yes, it can be done. But if they put 30 units in across the street from my house, that's 30 customers. That's great business for me. So we'd love to have a physical location. The third thing that we would like to do is I would really love to expand the range of coffee offerings, particularly the decaf. Right now I'm selling caffeine because that's what sells, and that's what's kind of funding the business. So we would like to be able to expand the range, but the business currently is at a place where it's paying for the beans. Yay! That's really good for us. That was one of our big goals is to make sure that the business was funding any future purchases, so that anything that we're purchasing from the business is coming from the profits from the business. I think we're probably about 85% there, but the beans are being purchased by the business now. Fantastic. It's not coming out of the family budget.
Sure,
so that's good.
5 minutes.
Oh! All right,
I got lots of questions, so.
I'm a rambler. All right.
Everyone's got questions.
I've been told to hurry up. All right. What's with the British flag? We're a bit of Anglophiles. We love BBC and all things British in terms of TV shows. Our fantasy vacation is England, Ireland, Scotland. It would be wonderful. We live on Westminster Street. We live in Manchester. We live in Maryland. It's all British, blah, blah, blah. So it's just kind of a play on that. Secondly, it is like super cheap advertising. All I got to do is stick up a British flag, and if you go, hey, that coffee, with the British flag, that's me. It's real easy, cheap marketing. So that's what the British flag is about. Problems. Funds for greens to expand our range. People who want organic coffees, decafs, additional varieties, and so forth. This piece here is just, this is difficult for me, negotiating local and state laws and regulations. I hate all the stuff that comes with, a food business. It's just really difficult. And then lastly, terror of early success. If I get orders for 100 pounds of coffee, I'm going to have a problem. All right, contacts for sales, contact this guy, service, contact this guy, product development, this guy, marketing, this guy. Complaints go to Belinda. All right. And thank you very much. That's Westminster Street Coffee.
Thank you, Troy.
Yep.
All right, so we got questions. I know Steve Lowe has a question.
Yes, sir.
127 Creative. Go ahead.
You drink your coffee black?
Sometimes I do.
Really? Not
Yeah.
all the time? Okay.
Not all the time. I love it with whole cream.
Okay, really? Okay.
Love
So, but my real question, got a couple real quick.
Uh-huh.
So I love how you prioritize like the online presence and then everything else,
Yes.
because I think there's a ton of competition for everything else. And
Yep.
a basic Google search for whole bean decaf shows just about nothing.
Yep.
So I'm wondering do you know who your national, because I feel like that's a national play. Who are your national competitors for whole bean
That I do not know.
decaf? And then, okay, because I that could just be, I don't know, but that could just be, you know.
Yeah.
You could do the other, that could work, and you could do the other stuff for fun. You want
Right.
to have a little bake shop, whatever.
Yep.
I just, considering doesn't seem to be much competition there. My other question is, how in the world, what is there a minimum order for my custom roasted? Because how do
Good
you,
point.
that doesn't seem all that practical to be like, yes,
Yeah,
I
so
want 1
the-
pound of Costa Rican
Mhm.
medium light, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
That's
so
gonna
the,
take you
the way
out.
that-
What do you have, like a little micro roaster? Like how does
Yep.
that work?
Yep. So the roaster that I currently use can handle anywhere from like 100 grams, which is not even a sample, up to a full pound.
Okay.
So and the idea is that you take those, and because they're very affordable, is to chain them
Right. How long does it take to roast a pound of?
about 10 minutes.
Okay. Interesting.
And if I chain those, the idea would be to chain those and have 4 or 5 of them, and I could have five rows going at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and this saves, and that little
What's
profile doodad that I showed you, it
What's
saves
The
the
us.
maximum size, 100 grams too?
No, it goes to 1,000 grams, which is 2 pounds. Yeah, it's a really remarkable roaster.
I don't know. I think that could be your focus. National decaf, custom roasted coffee. Everything else is fun. That's
Cool. Thank you.
And I think maybe do more in your name or branding to show that that's your niche.
Okay.
Like we do. Because I wouldn't know that you're a decaf
Specialty.
from that. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Great. Yes.
Sorry.
Piggyback
Sorry,
on
go.
what you
Yeah,
said. I was just going to say,
dominated.
when you start talking about decaf, being a decaf drinker myself.
Yes.
So sorry.
It is an
Some of us,
affliction.
you don't want me hyped up on caffeine. But yeah, your label somewhere, if you're going to focus on the decaf, to put like customers maybe something just
Sure.
to make
To
it
emphasize that. Right.
Or just to do it. I know you got to sell caffeine to make money.
Yeah, right now it's what's producing my revenue.
Any other
Is there
questions?
a difference between roast the grain or the roast to turn it to caffeine or decaf? Is there a difference in the
No,
process?
the decaffeination process happens before the roast.
But
Now I
The
can
grain, you buy
produce
the
it.
grain decaf already.
Yeah, so there are a number of ways of decaffeinating a coffee. The decaf that you're drinking today is a coffee that grows naturally, with a very low caffeine content. It doesn't have to be processed. So it is an absolutely phenomenal decaf coffee product. So I will do whatever I can to continue to carry that one. There's the Swiss water process, which you'll see, in coffee bags all the time. And then there's an ester alcohol type of it's a sugar alcohol that they process the beans with. Excuse me, and that does a decaf. There's a couple of other decaf processes. I prefer the ester alcohol ones because it retains some of the bean sweetness associated with it. Roasting decafs are a little bit trickier because they've been processed. Yep, but the decaffeination process always happens before the roast. Little hint though: the darker the roast, the less caffeine you have in it, because when you roast a coffee, it releases the caffeine, and then as you roast it and it continues to get hotter and darker, the caffeine is dissipating. So if you're thinking you're getting a nice big kick on that dark coffee, you are because you think you are.
Are you only offering whole bean, or will you?
No, I grind it.
On those coffees you have there, which one is the decaf?
It is the Lorena back there. It has the little green squiggly on the top, and it says
Second from the left, right?
I believe so.
I think it is.
Yep. But taste it.
It's
Taste it.
identical. They drank it, and I tasted them all, and I couldn't know.
You shouldn't be able to tell the difference on that. Yeah, and that's the goal, is to have a caffeine, decaf coffee, so you can drink, and you should be able to really to tell that much difference. Yes, ma'am.
So you said you were doing, you would grind it for us
Yes.
to the specifications you want. And if we did want a K-cup, do you sell the reusable K-cups or?
No, I don't. You'd have to purchase that yourself. Yeah.
No, but you do. So you don't sell them?
No, I
But you recommend them?
no, I don't even recommend them. I don't like K-cups.
No, reusable ones.
The reusable ones, yes. Yes, the reusable ones, if you're going to do it, yes, do this. K-cups to me are anathema. They are plastic and paper and foil, and
They're terrible.
they are everything that is
It's wrong.
environmentally unfriendly.
He actually hated that he did that.
Yeah, yep.
So, but you do offer the reusable ones, or you?
No, I just give you the
or no?
coffee, and then you would purchase this and use this in your, yeah. This is a Keurig one that you can buy. I bought this at Walmart or Target.
Her question brings it to another thing that is, anyone can go to Walmart, but if they're shopping for coffee online, they may already want to package the French, you said French press,
Yes.
the Italian thing, this thing. So this is something that, if we're selling online, wouldn't hurt for you to buy that for $1 in Walmart and sell for $5.
Okay, yeah, just go ahead and sell this along with it. Yeah, that I could do. Yeah.
Together.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's an insurance
There
revenue
is-
that
there
it
is
doesn't
also
cost
the-
you anything extra because you already brought the customer to your website, right? You can actually pay for the click. It's not a big margin, but we'll pay for the
Yeah,
clicks.
sure, okay, right.
It's convenience for the customer.
It's
Yeah.
convenient for the customer and
Okay.
it's an
And it
extra
also
revenue that
promotes
costs you
your
nothing.
reducing the plastic.
Plastic waste, right. Yep.
Have you met Dave Baldwin yet?
Oh, yeah.
From Furnace Hills Coffee?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Okay, and have you?
Yeah, Dave, yeah.
So, because I think that in terms of other people in the community that can help you. And
Oh
give you
yeah, no,
advice.
Dave is where I first started, getting interested in learning how to roast. Yeah. Yes.
I guess locally, price point. If someone wants to order coffee, are you shipping it to them or do they pick it up from you? Sure.
Locally, you can do a local pickup if you happen to live close enough, and there's no shipping. Obviously, if you do a local pickup,
And what are you charging per pound?
anywhere from $9.50 to $13.50 a pound. It's actually 12 ounce because once you roast it, it goes from a pound to 12 ounces. You lose some water content. Yes, sir.
Where are you selling online? Is it only from your website?
Yes.
Have you thought about selling at a larger
No.
retailer? Like, no.
Nope.
It's afraid
No,
of
where's
success.
You missed that. You missed that slide. Terror of too much success too early.
You could throttle that.
How would I throttle that?
But what would be
Back orders.
what would be the limitation? You wouldn't have equipment. You wouldn't have people. What would actually be the
What's the
bottleneck?
impediment right now is that this whole operation is run out of, like I said, we're operating on the cottage law, so it's all run out of my kitchen. So once we get that commercial kitchen set up, my turnaround should be a whole lot faster, a lot easier. But that's a big funnel point for me right now.
Can you explain the cottage law? Just so
Yeah,
we
cottage,
understand?
cottage law basically allows you to sell, certain food products, as long as you label it that you're selling it under the cottage law, and you're allowed to sell under $50,000 a year, as a cottage industry, and there's a food range. Certain things that you're allowed to sell. Some things that you can't sell. I couldn't sell you bacon as a cottage law, but coffee is one of those things that you're allowed to sell.
And you can't do commercial. You can't sell it to commercial restaurants then.
I can't sell to commercial restaurants. I couldn't put my product in.
But
Say
you want to do bulk.
Retail.
what's that?
You said you want to do bulk orders to restaurants.
Yeah, that's why I want to do the commercial kitchen.
I see.
Yeah. They kind of go together.
And get licensed. And
So you
get
don't want to
licensed.
stay cottage. You want to.
Yeah, I want to be able to get that commercial kitchen up and running so that I can do those kinds of sales because I can't even put it in a grocery store.
Are you set up as a corporation already?
We are an LLC.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Where do I get a T-shirt?
Walmart.
Westminster Street Coffee.
Westminster.
Yeah, T-shirt. Yeah.
For decaf lovers.
For decaf lovers,
there you go.
absolutely.
Well, I love the
.com.
mason jar. Knowing that you can come refill your mason jar full of beans, I think that's a great idea. That's another differentiator that I think should be up front and center of what your differentiators are.
I like the logo, right? The whole little thing. But I don't know, thinking here, right? Brainstorming. Maryland is actually, I think the state with the people shows off more their flag. Even
Oh,
more
we
than
love
Texas,
our flags.
right?
We wear it as a t-shirt,
and
socks,
you have a
ties.
city of Maryland in the name of the company. So you may find some potential higher acceptance to the Maryland flag, not to replace or combine. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
I've
it
toyed
seems like-
with
it seems-
incorporating that Maryland flag in this concept.
I don't know.
I've
That'd
messed,
be
I'm
too
not a
much.
designer.
I've messed with it some.
I'm
but
not
yeah,
a
it didn't-
designer. I don't know. You
But
know?
on a national level, Westminster Abbey, so
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, right. I think that's
There's
honestly.
Westminster is England too. Is there
Yes.
Westminster?
Yeah.
Westminster
Right,
Abbey.
Westminster Abbey. Right. So
I
that's
don't
that
know. I mean,
confused
you
me
get
too.
it.
Yeah.
I kind of
Insane.
wanted it to represent Westminster, Maryland, more than it currently does. Even though I'm a big fan of BBC and like Little Britain and Monty Python and all those things, but
It definitely looks like a British company.
looks like a British company. And I think that I personally have a stake in elevating the brand of Westminster,
Really?
Maryland. So seeing
Don't
it,
say.
and we won the war. We won the Revolutionary War.
Yes, but that war was overseas.
That was true. The tea issue.
The coffee war is still
Still
raging.
ongoing.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Troy? All right. Thank you very
All
much,
right,
Troy.
thank you.
All right. So we have 15 minutes about for some quick shout outs and stuff like that for the community. Anybody have an update they want to come up and share? Yes, Jenna Shriver, come on up. Do you need me to pull up anything for your website?
No.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Hey everybody, it's good to see you again. I'm Jenna Shriver, founder of Together Studios, which is a co-work and creative studio space here in Westminster, if you don't know me already. And I just want to let you know that we just released and opened tickets for our first workshop here in January, who our friend who's usually here, Billy Live, is going to be teaching. And it's on how to persevere in business and creativity. So if that interests you, our tickets are live. You can get that on our website at togetherstudios.com/workshops, or we're posting all this stuff on our social media. So if you have any questions, come find me afterwards. But we're excited for our first workshop of 2022.
How much are tickets?
$35 plus the Eventbrite fees.
Any other questions for Jenna while she's up there? Very cool.
That's
Thanks, Jenna. Anybody else have an update? Or a shout out or whatever? Anybody? Steve Lowe from 127 Creative. Come
What's up,
on.
everybody? So it's about that time of year where the Carol Biz Challenge is about to kick off, and that is the premier startup you should enter competition here in Carroll County. There's nothing else like it. We're giving away $5,000 cash plus $25,000 more in valuable services and prizes. And basically, dozens of entrepreneurs enter. 5 are chosen to compete and pitch their idea live at the Carroll Arts Center in August. And the application period will officially open on February 10th. And we're having a kickoff at the college. We got all that confirmed that evening. I think it's 5 to 7 in K100 at Carroll Community College. We'll kind of go, you don't have to show up to that to enter, but it's kind of helpful. It's kind of a cool event, and we'll talk about how to make a great application, one that actually specifically how to make an application that doesn't suck. And then right after that, we'll open the application period. That'll be open through May 31st at 11:59 and 59 seconds. That's your last shot to enter.
AM or PM?
PM, yes, yes, thanks for that clarification. That's your last second to enter the 2022 Carol Biz Challenge. Then there'll be a meet and greet, and we'll pick the final 5, and then August, I don't know, something, is the live finale. So Anybody that's started within the last year or so, or thinks they're going to start within the next year, I think you definitely qualify for that. And it's a great event. So jump in if you have anybody have any questions.
Any questions for Steve? I have a question. Where'd you get your main hoodie from?
Maine.
No, what part?
We were near Portland.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. We have lots of people that go up to Maine in the summertime around here.
Yeah,
A lot of
it
Mainers.
was about a year. Well, it was fall 2020.
Oh, so you're a leafer.
So I'm a what?
You're
A leafer?
Uh,
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to go to Maine, and so I thought the good time to go is when they're, and we missed it by about a week. I think the real
Worst.
It's tricky to
Yeah.
time that.
It is. It's but it was a great time.
We go in mud season.
Mud
Yeah.
season.
Mud
Yeah,
season.
that is
Mud-
season
your mudders?
after winter.
Yes, we go in mud season.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for
It's
you.
the 5th season up north, you know.
And it is nothing to do in mud season. In
Yeah.
Maine.
Perfect time to go.
Probably cheap too.
It is.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve. Any other updates? Chris, any restore updates? I can just share real quick since Steve mentioned K100. That reminded me, Magic has 2 upcoming events at Carroll Community College and K100 also. The first one is going to be our hackathon. The Business Risk Conference. Sorry, the Business Risk Conference, which we actually had scheduled for this past November. It got pushed back because of COVID to March. So March 4th. Thank you, March 4th. It's a cybersecurity conference. We've got some really great presenters, including Ron Gula, who's one of our keynotes. He heads the Gula Tech Foundation. He's from Howard County. He started a big cybersecurity agency there that went public. And so we're drawing a lot of people from outside of Carroll County to Carroll County for this cybersecurity conference. And then there's also going to be an after-party networking event at Old Westminster Winery immediately following the conference. So we're looking for sponsors for both. Actually, the sponsors for the conference is mostly filled up. We have availability for sponsors for the reception, the networking reception at Old Westminster Winery. And then we are also looking for sponsorships for our next hackathon, which is also at Carroll Community College, also in K100. That is going to be the weekend of April Fool's Day, April 4th, 2nd, and 3rd. That's our annual hackathon event that draws students from all over the state as well. So we're really excited about that. So if you're interested in getting involved with Magic, the community tech education stuff that we do, please see me or go to our website, magicinc.org. Speaking of which, thank you to Magic as our community sponsor. Thank you to Startup Portal as our sponsor. Actually, Tina, you're here. Come on up. You do this better than I do. Tina Thomas is going to wrap us up from Infinite Love Project.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you here. We're grateful for the entrepreneurs who help make this ecosystem go. That's why we're here. We're here to help entrepreneurs figure out what they want to go, how to get there. And we're just grateful that so many people are joining the 1 Million Cups project here in Westminster. So sometimes we have 1 presenter, sometimes we have 2, and next week it could be you. So go to 1millioncups.com/Westminster and click apply to present. If you've never presented before, that's okay. We got your back. We'll help you understand how to walk through getting an idea out there into a supportive community, and then you could possibly run with it. So join us next week. We'll see you then.